Now we recall that the estimation of the power spectral densities for the wide sense stationary random processes we have already seen there, and that could be modeled as the output of a linear shift invariant filter driven by the use of a white noise that can be denoted W as a function of n into the discrete time domain. Now, along with this, we have another important model where the x of n, the usual notation for the discrete time random process, the input one, can be made by the summation of the complex exponential in the white noise. Here, the mathematical expression can be the better representation. So, x of n here we have onto the left hand side the discrete time random process, and it is a sum of the complex exponential in white noise. Here the white noise is represented in the second term w of n, whereas the summation I is equal to L to P, here we have provided the capital A suffix I is multiplied to the complex exponential e to the power j times n into omega suffix I here. Now here the assumption is made that the amplitude levels that has been represented by capital A suffix I are all complex here. So here we can represent capital A suffix I is equal to mod of capital A suffix I, that is the magnitude, in multiplication to e to the power j times phi suffix I, that is the imaginary portion here. So here it is also that the phi suffix I is uncorrelated random variable that are uniformly distributed over the interval minus pi to plus pi here. So now with this assumption, now we move on to have consideration of our current topic, that is eigen analysis algorithm for the spectrum estimation. So it is basically achieved by the use of eigen decomposition of the autocorrelation matrix here. So here we consider the first order discrete time random process that has the single complex exponential into the white noise mathematically can be expressed this way. So here we have x of n in terms of a1 multiplied to e to the power jn omega suffix l added to w of n. So here we represent a1 for the first order discrete time random process. Now in general, the amplitude of the complex exponential that has been representation a1 that comes from the equation that just now we have discussed, a suffix I is equal to the magnitude or the mod of a suffix I in multiplication to e to the power j times phi suffix I here. Here the autocorrelation sequence for the discrete time random process, the input one that we have represented into the first equation, can be given into the form we have Rx of k to represent the autocorrelation sequence, and here it is capital P1 times e to the power j times n into omega suffix l, and it is added to sigma suffix w square, the variance, into del of k here. Now here capital P1, it is basically the mod square of capital A1, the amplitude. So as we take the mod square, this is the capital P1 becomes the power in the complex exponential. So because of this, the m by m autocorrelation order matrix for the x of n input discrete time random process is the sum of the autocorrelation matrix due to the signal that can be represented by simply capital R suffix s and the autocorrelation matrix due to the noise that can be denoted R suffix n here. So in the first equation here you can see the overall autocorrelation matrix R suffix x is the summation because of this portion of signal and this portion concerning the noise here. Now the signal autocorrelation matrix that can be substituted to this place in the first equation is nothing but capital P1 multiplied to this matrix here. So in this matrix, the complex exponentials that we can see into the first row, it is 1 only, as the power to it will be the 0. E to the power minus j times omega 1, e to the power minus j times twice omega 1, this way up to e to the power minus j times capital M minus 1 omega 1. So these are the coefficients into the first row. In the second row, we have e to the power j times omega 1. The second coefficient is equal to 1. The third coefficient, it will be e to the power minus j times omega 1. And at last we end at e to the power minus j in bracket m minus 2 times omega 1 here. In the third row, you can see here that we have e to the power j times twice of omega 1 at the first column here. Next to that we have e to the power j times omega 1. Next to that we have 1, and we end at e to the power minus j times m minus 3 into omega 1 here. So at last, the last row, that is the mth row, we can say e to the power j times m minus 1 omega 1 into e to the power j times m minus 2 omega 1. The third column, it will be e to the power j times m minus 3 omega 1, and the last column, last row element here, it will be 1. So the change into the position of the value 1 when the power is equal to 0 for the complex exponential, the changes you can see right from the first column to that of the last column as we proceed from first row to the last row. So this is the signal part here that can be substituted into the first term of the right hand side of the earlier equation here. Whereas this particular matrix holds the rank of 1, and on the another part, the representation of the autocorrelation matrix due to noise, that it is r suffix n here. So this is equal to the variance sigma suffix w square in multiplication to the identity matrix denoted by capital I, which has a full rank here. Now it is quite interesting to define that E1 can be the vector of the complex exponentials, those we have used here. So the complex exponentials can be this way. 1, we have e to the power j into omega 1, e to the power j times twice omega 1. So this way up to e to the power j times m minus 1, m should be capital here, omega 1 here. So the representation is for the transverse form here. So that time the RAS, the representation of autocorrelation matrix for the signal part, can be written into the terms of this e suffix 1 here. So this new representation in the form of E1 here can be given like this. We have capital P1 already as it is, then we can have its multiplication to the E1 as shown in the above equation, and it is to be multiplied to the Hermitian of E1 here. So E1 to the power h here we have represented here. So as we have talked about that the rank of the matrix that we obtain for the autocorrelation of the signal part to be the value 1 here, then this representation RS has only one non-zero eigenvalue. So with the value computed like we have RS into E1, that it will be P1 in multiplication to E1, the multiplication finally multiplied to E1. So we get P1 E1 first of all, then E1 Hermitian and E1. So we can write it to the form capital M, the order that we have for the autocorrelation matrix, into capital P1 into E1. So we get a non-zero eigenvalue that is equal to M into capital P1, and we have E1, the corresponding eigenvector as represented in the first equation on this particular slide here. Now additionally, as RS is Hermitian, so the remaining eigenvectors, as we can denote them by V2, V3 up to V1, will be a complete orthogonal to E1. So they are also completely independent. E1 is also independent, those are following the orthogonality principle, and hence we can write even Hermitian in multiplication to the another eigenvectors v suffix I in general. This is equal to 0 for the I values ranging from 2, 3, 4 and so on up to capital M. Now here it is important to note that if we let in general lambda suffix I to the power s, the representation of the eigenvalues that can be determined for Rs. Rs is the autocorrelation matrix of the signal part. So that time we can have Rx multiplied to the V suffix I is equal to Rs added to the variance sigma suffix W square into the identity matrix. So this bracket is multiplied to the V suffix I. Later on we can write it in terms of lambda suffix I to the power s into Vi added to the variance sigma suffix W square in multiplication to the Vi. That can be for the both of the terms here, and we can let it to be the bracket having the addition of lambda suffix I to the power s added to the sigma suffix W square, finally multiplied the bracket with V suffix I, the another remaining eigenvectors for the signal part of the autocorrelation matrix here. Now we can see that the eigenvectors for the net Rx, that is the autocorrelation matrix for the discrete time random process considering the signal part as well as the noise part, will be the same as those for the signal part. And for the Rx we have the relation for the eigenvalues lambda suffix I is equal to lambda suffix I, and lambda is having the power s added to the variance sigma suffix W that has been squared here. So finally as a result, the largest eigenvalue for the autocorrelation matrix of the discrete time random process x of n can be denoted as lambda max, and it can be the sum of m times capital P1 added to the variance we have sigma suffix W square here. So this is the maximum value eigen, and the remaining are the m minus 1 into the numbers, and those are equal to the variance sigma suffix W square. So now with this information it becomes quite possible to have the extraction of all of the parameters that we can extract for the discrete time random process that has been considered and denoted by x of n from the obtained eigenvalues and the corresponding eigenvectors for the matrix R suffix x for it. So now we have 3 steps for determination of all such information. We go one by one. So in the first step we have to perform the eigen decomposition of the autocorrelation matrix represented R suffix x. So here the largest eigenvalue will be equal to mp1 plus sigma omega square here, W square here, and the remaining eigenvalues will be equal to sigma suffix W that is squared here. So this is the point that just now we have discussed. Further, in the next step we have to make the use of the eigenvalues of the autocorrelation matrix Rx to find the solution for the power capital P1 and the noise variance in the steps like this here. So we write the variance sigma suffix W, sigma is squared here, it is equal to lambda minimum, and P1 can be computed as 1 upon capital M in multiplication to the difference of lambda max and lambda minimum here. And finally, the third step, we have to determine the frequency denoted the omega suffix 1 from the eigenvector V max that is associated with the largest eigenvalue by the use of, for example, the second coefficient that is for the V max, and here we can represent omega suffix I by this particular formulation here. So as we have a determination of the frequency in the third step, this is of course the spectral estimation here, and by the use of decomposition of the eigenvalues for the autocorrelation matrix Hence, it was the title Eigen Analysis Algorithm for the 3 steps for the spectrum estimation.